Hello and welcome to interest.co.nz. I'm Gareth Vaughan with another in our series of double shot interviews, and I'm joined today by Rudi Katz, the Chief Executive Officer of Broadlands Finance. Welcome to interest.co.nz, Rudi. Thanks for joining us. Now, Broadlands is obviously one of many finance companies that's been through the Crown Retail Deposit Guarantee period. It's just ended. You're not part of the extended scheme.
No.
How's life been for you under that scheme, and how are things looking now?
To say that it was difficult is probably an understatement, but hey, it did its job. It stabilised something. We came through it. It's been tough. Look, there have been times when you say, well, why would I want to do this? But there you are. We're here. We're looking forward to the opportunities that are going to be there. We are in business and we're here to lend money.
And you're comfortable being back in that non-guaranteed world?
We're much happier in the non-guaranteed world because I don't need to build up a big day that everybody wants their money back. It's been tough, and I'm sure that the people that are under the new guarantee are trying very hard not to build up another big wall of maturities at the same time. And if there was one piece of advice I could give to them, is to make sure that they match their loans to the term of their investments.
You guys obviously specialise in consumer loans,
Yep.
Consumer finance space. What's it like out there at the moment in that market?
I think if you had the money, you could lend the money 10 times over. I mean, you can see the credit card spends up. Car sales are up. I mean, who lends the money at the moment? I'd say it's banks. So I think it's a good place to be. Yeah, I'm very confident about the consumer market. Yeah.
And obviously, you've got Tony Radisich as your shareholder.
Yep.
You're going into the new non-bank deposit taker regulations shortly.
Yep.
You're comfortable with all the criteria around those for capital ratios, etc.?
Oh, I think that if you do a bit of homework, you'll find that we probably have the highest or one of the highest capital ratios. But that's never been a problem because we only. I don't know. I mean, I might owe the public external debentures less than $7 million. So the rest is all funded in-house. I don't think we have independent directors. Our ratios are going to be fine. Yeah, no, I think we're great. Yeah.
And Tony's obviously got a lot tied up in this business. He's comfortable to stay there for some time yet?
Tony has his own wishes. He's got his own investments, and Broadlands is just one of them. So he's got a lot more than just Broadlands. And I think he'd be very happy to where we are today. Yeah.
And in terms of, I guess your customers, what are you seeing from them at the moment? I mean, are they obviously times are still a bit tough out there?
I think that if you look at what Broadlands historically has done, Broadlands historically has been in the second-tier finance business, and I think that's not where the hurt is today. Unemployment is higher, but it's probably not at the lower end of the market. And that's where we've been. We haven't seen a huge increase in arrears or anything like that. I think it affects different finance companies in a different way, and it probably hasn't affected us as much as others. Yeah.
But you've obviously got a prospectus out there at the moment, so you're looking for money.
Yep.
How's that going?
It could always be better, right? But look, I guess that we believe that mum and dad investors still need somewhere to put their money. There is a finance company in the South Island that's going to pay $1.7 billion back very soon, and I guess we'll all know what's going to happen with mum and dad investors once that comes on the market. And look, if I picked up 10% of that, it'd be $170 million. If I picked up 1% of it, it's still $17 million. Yeah. So I think we have confidence in that particular part, but we also realistic in saying that. We probably also need to change our funding a little bit and say, hey, look, there's other people that want to deal with us. There's banks, there's finance houses, there's investment houses. Yeah.
Are you talking to those sorts of parties at the moment about sort of potentially securing other sources of funding?
I guess that being one of the companies that has come through this crisis, there's always people looking for opportunities. So yeah, I mean we are, and we have got a few irons in the fire, and let's just see where that goes.
Yeah. Can you tell us who they are? Who they might be?
No, I don't think so. I might put everybody else on the same track, but. Yeah, they're basically overseas companies. I think the appetite in New Zealand is still. I don't think the banks are really interested in moving in that market. There are people that want to look at finance companies like ours. Yeah.
But you wouldn't describe them as vulture funds?
One or two might be.
Because I know when we spoke previously,
Yeah.
you did mention that obviously you'd had a nice big cheque from Fortress Corporation waved in front of you in
Yes.
about 2007.
Yep.
Can you tell us any more about that? I mean, obviously you said no to that. I mean, what was your reasoning behind that?
Oh, look, there's a lot to tell you all the reasons, but one of the reasons is just the cost of money. And the second reason is that we had a choice. You know, we didn't have to go with people that we at the time didn't like the deal. You know, but the cheque was there. We could have started, and we would have been able to sign a contract. But you know, we're saying that second best is probably not good enough for us. We want to deal with something that suits us, and I guess we're lucky that we can make that choice.
It must have been very tempting, though.
Oh, absolutely. $100 million is a lot of money. And you know, there's obviously other companies in New Zealand that have done the business with these people. So, you know, I guess we probably need to ask them and see how successful that's going to be over time.
So you certainly don't have any regrets that you turned down Fortress at that point?
None whatsoever at that point, no.
But, I mean, obviously, you know, they're still around as well, so...
Yeah, and I guess that they're still keen to do business in New Zealand, and if the right deal came along from them, we'd be keen to talk to them.
Okay. Are you actually actively talking to them at the moment?
Oh, it's been a little while since I've spoken to them, yeah.
Okay. And look, I mean, you touched on, obviously, South Canterbury Finance. I think it's this Wednesday, the debenture and deposit holders in South Canterbury Finance are due to get about $1.6 billion back through the guarantee. Obviously, you're one of many firms and people watching and perhaps hoping to get a bit of a slice of that.
Yeah.
What are your instincts telling you in terms of how those people, what those people might do with their money?
Oh, I think being South Islanders, they'd be pretty parochial, a lot of them. You know, so I would say that a lot of the money will stay in the South Island. But you know, I'm also convinced that mum and dads need an investment vehicle and that they need to get interest on their money. And, you know, 3% of the bank is probably not that attractive. So I guess Broadlands is a pretty good alternative for them. And, you know, if hey, look, we're here. We've come through the crisis. And... look, I think we're a good bet for these people.
What sort of interest rates are you guys offering at the moment?
For the right term, we will pay you know, anywhere between 8 and 10%, depending on the term. But I guess if there was one lesson that we learned is that we want to match our term with our investments, you know, our term of our finances with the terms of the debenture holders.
Mm-hmm. Looking back at the last 3 or 4 years, I mean, obviously the guarantee's been a very dominant part of the last couple of years. I mean, obviously it's distorted. It's distorted the market to a large degree. Do you think there's anything that could have been done by the government to handle the situation better? I mean, obviously the world was in quite a panic there in 2008.
Well, to be honest with you, if I say that in October or November 2008, I woke up on a Monday morning and we were invited into a government guarantee scheme, I simply couldn't believe it. I mean, you know, companies like Broadlands didn't have to go into that scheme, and I believe lots of others didn't have to go into the scheme.
So you think without it, Broadlands would have survived? Yeah,
Broadlands would have survived without it. As a matter of fact, you know, if I go back, I could almost say to you that it's been of very little benefit to us because all of a sudden you have to. Everybody competes on the same basis, so you know, it didn't matter if you were offering 20% or 8%, you know, it was all government guaranteed, so you could go crazy. I mean, some finance companies raised $70 million in less than a week. Others like us, well, we didn't go anywhere near that because you still had to do something with the money. And I guess that if I'd been the government on the day, and this is in hindsight, you know, if they would have made money available, you know, under circumstances rather than guaranteeing mum and dads, but, you know, wholesale funding, that might have been an option or a mixture of both. Yeah. If wholesale funding had been available to us, we probably would not have gone under government guarantee.
Okay. I mean, obviously, we've seen a lot of companies fall by the wayside in the last few years, but not so much in the consumer space where you operate. More of the property financiers is pretty much cleared out. But obviously, with the new non-bank deposit taker regulations coming in from the Reserve Bank, there are going to be people are going to need to hold more capital, that type of thing. There's talk of mergers and acquisitions out there. I mean, are you talking to anyone about anything like that, or do you anticipate you might?
Oh, yeah, I guess that everybody that has an issue with their capital requirements, you know, they look at Broadlands and they see excess capital. So we get people that come and talk to us from time to time, but I can't see many of them, to be honest with you. Maybe at the top end, but certainly at the bottom end, I think everybody will go their own way. Yeah. And who is there left to go and amalgamate with? There are some opportunities in New Zealand, I guess, for the consumer finance, and not only did consumer finance companies, or some of them, survive, but the ones that did fall over, they returned a high percentage of money to the debenture holders. Provincial finance, almost 100%. So, there's very little risk in consumer finance in New Zealand compared with the property finance.
Where do you see your particular opportunities in the market, and how are you trying to position Broadlands?
We still see ourselves in the top first tier, maybe slightly second tier, but mainly consumer-based finance. I can see the car business going well. Consumer goods. If the opportunities are there, we'll take them.
And your main competitors, obviously, GE's out there. Fisher Local Finance.
GE's too big for them to be our competitor. They control the market. They control the Harvey Norman change. I think that they're the biggest player in that market, and we would only be playing second fiddle to them, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. And I guess more long term, you're obviously looking at perhaps bringing on additional funder or funders. Yeah. So stepping away a little bit from the debenture-based funding model.
Well, the thing is all about cost. To comply with the non-bank deposit takers, small company like Broadlands, it would cost anywhere between 500,000 and $1 million to comply. So, if you had a debenture book of less than 20 or 30 million, you'd find that it may not be worthwhile doing. So, yes, we certainly have to grow our debenture book to make sure that it all makes sense. Yep.
So you were saying your debentures now is about 7 million?
External debentures about 7.5 million, yeah.
So when you add that in with what Tony's got, are you over 20 million currently?
Oh, no, not even over. Even with Tony's, we're not over 20 million. No.
So you anticipate you will be by December the 1st?
Well, we don't need to be over 20 million. But 20 million, you need a rating. We have a rating. So we have an S&P rating. Look, I hope to, get into the $13-14 million type scene in the next 2 years.
Okay. Yeah. That's Rudi Katz, the CEO of Broadlands Finance, and I'm Gareth Vaughan from interest.co.nz with another Double Shot interview.
Thank you.